Alright, yo, what's going on, everybody? Today, I'm going to be going for just a quick drive. Gotta head to my parents' house real quick, get some stuff from them, and then after that, we'll be going to work. But I wanted to talk today about what my plans are for the winter, how I plan on winterizing this car. So everyone, as you can kind of maybe see, I'm wearing jacket, sleeves. I mean, it's getting to that point where it's, what, it's 50-ish degrees now, middle of November. And about a little bit later this week, I believe, actually, it's supposed to be our first ever snowfall. So with that said, as you guys can probably take a wild guess, I don't drive this car in the winter. One, I just don't like rust on my cars, even though I do live in the Midwestern, I do live in Ohio. It's still not my cup of tea, as it is not for most people. Following the channel and or my TikTok, you guys know at this point I do have a SpeedTech top mount turbo kit, a 6466 turbo, full E85 flex tune, port injection, the whole 9 yards. And on full E85, this car is pushing about 40 to 41 pounds of boost, which that equals to about 750 to 800-ish horsepower, give or take. Now, if you guys hear some rattling, I do apologize. I do have some dishes here in this bag that I need to bring back to my parents' house. That's actually where I'm going right now. But as you guys can see, temp gauge is slowly starting to go up. Trying to just drive slow, let the car warm up. So everyone, to start today's video topic, like I said, winterizing this car, basically getting prepared for winter, what I plan on doing over the winter. First off, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, this car is on a full 85 flex tune, so luckily that's a flex tune. I'm able to obviously go between 93, 85, etc. Kind of almost have a full tank, but I went ahead already yesterday and topped this car off already with 93 octane with very low ethanol. Aren't very familiar with ethanol fuels, E85, you know, anything that has ethanol in it, over time it does tend to corrode non-ethanol rated fuel components. So in my case, that would realistically really be the fuel lines and the fuel tank. Now obviously it's not going to happen like overnight or anything, but if you let your car sit with the 85 in it for more than probably like a month or so, it can start to eat away at those weak points. I really hope you guys have a good vision, because I can't see what you guys are seeing right now. You are on top of my head, but I don't know how well the point of view is, honestly. So a lot of people like to go ahead and add fuel stabilizers into their vehicles, and that's actually something I was taught when I was in automotive trade school, back in high school when we had an automotive class. We were taught by our teacher, which I will give in, he is a little bit of an older guy and he has a bunch of old classic cars, so it might work better for him in his situation. But for example, Stable, that's one of the fuel additives he recommended when we were in high school. Now overall, does it work? Yes, but honestly it might be a waste of money versus going and just putting very low ethanol or no ethanol fuel in your gas tank if it's available within your area, if you plan on keeping your car parked and not running for a long time. So besides getting all the ethanol out of my tank, which I believe I still have about like E12 or something in the tank, I wasn't able to get all of it out, so obviously I will have to go ahead and basically top this off with more low ethanol fuel, try to get rid of that to have it at least underneath E10, so about 10% ethanol. Need to get at least under that. At least I will feel comfortable keeping this parked for most of the winter. Now, lucky enough, like I mentioned before, I do live in Ohio, northeastern area to be specific. Recently, we haven't had terrible winters compared to other locations. I'm pretty sure as far as snow and salt goes, normally only like 2 or 3 months out of the winter is where it's like snowing or like snow on the ground. Other than that, it's just really cold and wet, and by that I mean just rainy. Example A would be today. I mean, it's 50 degrees, but it's no sun. It's completely cold. What the I know y'all saw that. I know y'all saw that. And now that we're passing actually one of the car washes that I use, it's kind of a good point to talk about this as well. As you can see some people doing right now, is probably the day of I decide where like I'm done, I'm not driving this car until basically spring. I'll probably go ahead, give it a quick wash, you know, keep it to the point where it's mostly clean, and then just it will be sitting underneath the cover in my garage. Kind of that gray, darkish, you know, basically winter type time, where it gets dark at like 4:30, which really pisses me off. But besides the point, later this week, I think on Wednesday or Thursday, it said there's like a small % chance of it snowing, but in general, it's still gonna be cold, it's still gonna be wet, and it does get pretty annoying. Assuming since you watch this video, you either own a 340 or own any kind of car that you personally love, want to take care of. If you're a car guy, car girl, you know, either way, it does kind of suck in the wintertime. Now, given cars are not like bikes, and as I mentioned in my last video, I am starting to get into bikes as well, so completely different animal. But as far as cars go, yes, I mean, you can still drive said car in the winter. Obviously, everyone does, in the sense of, you know, car, like I have a daily for the winter, so that's not really the point I'm getting at. It's specifically from heavily modified cars, or cars that maybe completely stock engines, but they're just slammed on their car. Speaking for those stance boys out there. As you guys know, besides my car making so much power to the point where I probably won't even be able to accelerate anywhere within snow, I'm also about that much off the ground as far as my front lip goes, and my side skirts. So I would basically be a snow plow for my city, and they should probably pay me to do it, but hey, besides the point, I'll be a literal snow plow. Try to open her up a little bit for you guys here, hold on. Oh, that turbo sound, I'll never get over that. High gear, low RPM pulls, just to hear the turbo is amazing. All right, I went ahead and rolled the windows up so you guys can actually hear me now, but kind of continuing on, kind of going along the whole high horsepower situation. I'm not saying I'm not a good driver in the snow. If you guys follow me on Instagram and or TikTok, you have seen videos of me, you know, obviously in Mexico, doing some X-Drive donuts in the snow way back when, but that was also when my car was not lowered, so I mean, I wasn't really worried about ripping any bumpers off or anything. Besides that point though, I'm not really worried about myself in the snow. I'm worried about every other person you see on the road in the snow, because not a lot of them, being completely honest, don't know how to drive in the snow. At least in my area, I probably see 1 to 2 accidents a day in the winter on my way to work and on my way home from work. It's something as simple as people not changing their tires for the winter. Like, come on. And that's another thing too. Right now on the Apexes I do have Continental Extreme Sport. I think they're Extreme Sport 2s, I believe is what they're called. They're basically like the Pilot Sport 4S equivalents that Michelin has, just in Continental brand. And they're pretty much rated for straight summer / track. These tires do not do any well under like 40 degrees. And right now I'm even kind of pushing it, being that it's 50 degrees. So that's kind of another reason why too, it's about to be time to wrap it up, and I will not be able to drive this thing in the winter whatsoever. Put too much time and money, blood, sweat, and tears into this vehicle, and I do not want some random Karen driving her big Suburban that her husband bought her to take me out because she didn't know to stay 2 to 3 cars back in the winter. Now guys, being that I do have 93 in the tank right now, no ethanol, this is on slow boy mode. I'm pretty much about 550 horse right now, which again, in a normal sense, that is not slow at all, but for what I'm used to, that is pretty turned down just because of the fuel that's in the tank. Pulling up to the parents' crib. I will say that I don't have my burbles turned up a lot. I have them probably at like 0.2 seconds, but they are a lot louder when I have 93 in the car, and I'll have to look into that. I think it might have something to do, obviously, just with the type of fuel. Go ahead, get her started back up. All right, everyone, so I'm gonna be heading on my way to work now, but to give you guys an overall summary, just honestly, make sure you have no ethanol fuels in here. Keep the battery charged. You'll be just fine. That's my plan, at least. I've done it for the past couple years, and it's been fine. As far as my channel goes, TikTok, all that, I will still try my hardest to go ahead and keep posting. I do have some clips and videos stored up just from over the course of the year, so I'll try to make videos out of it over the winter. Or, hey, if there's that random 60-degree day where it's sunny out in the middle of winter, which does happen here and there in Ohio, I'll bring the car out and make a nice vlog with it. If you haven't yet, like I've mentioned before, I do have a clothing brand. It's linked in the description below. It is Outcast. And then as well, I do plan on posting on my second channel, which is just Nico Cruise 2. That should be linked in the description as well. That's where it's going to be normal, just random vlogs, videos, not necessarily car related. So anything else other than car related stuff, it will be over there on that channel. Hey everyone, if you have any questions, comments below, or you want to tell me how you winterize your 340i or really any car of that sort, please feel free to give me some tips, tricks down below if you have something to chip in. Other than that, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.